my second lesson in the course Theory for Beginners. During this lesson, I will explain to you how to place notes on the staff and how to recognize them. So we have 5 lines. So first of all, we need to write a treble clef. Treble clef is kind of like a capital letter when you're starting to write your sentence. Each line we need to start with writing our treble clef. Okay, so let's place our notes on staff. You can see that we have 5 lines, and you can put numbers for yourself. Write down the numbers 4 and 5, and we have 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the way we organize notes on the staff is very consistent and actually easy to follow, because our notes, for example, we have a C major scale where we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So our notes, all of them, if you will follow this order, they will also be placed in this specific order on the staff, except C, that has a leisure line, and we're using a little leisure lines in case if it's not enough main stuff, if it's not enough main lines to place our note, so then we start using your leisure line. So this little line we call leisure line. So C has leisure line. I will explain to you how to recognize your note on leisure lines within this lesson as well, but I will not go at very low pitch, because we add in leisure lines for notes that have a low pitch, and so they going down this direction, and we add in as well leisure lines for notes that are high pitch and they go in this direction. So we add in leisure lines in this side of your stuff. So C has 1 leisure line. D looks exactly like C, except you need to remove this leisure line. So D doesn't require to have leisure line. E will be placed on the first line. E will be placed on the first line. So if you will take a close look, you can see that we didn't skip any place. Those 2 notes are next to each other, and actually these 2 notes are also next to each other. You cannot place any other note between them, because there's no space or no line. So D is under all lines, E is on the first line, and F will be placed between lines. So basically, if your notes next to each other in your scale, it means that they're going to be next to each other on the staff as well. After F we have G. So G will be placed. What is happening after our space? What is next step? It is line. So G will be placed on the line over here. So you see they're also right next to each other. So basically we have notes changing their order in a way that one note sits on line, after we have space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, and space afterwards. So if you see notes that skipping those lines or spaces, it means they're gonna skip their order in your scale as well. I will show it to you to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. So after G, next note is A. It means that I'm gonna use next available space, and will be the space, or next available line if I had my note in space. Okay, after A we have B. And you can see that I'm writing my B in a little bit different way, because my stem is going down. So I need to write my stem down starting from 3rd line and above. So basically, to make sure that your stems are not sticking up too much, it just makes it a little bit easier to read, and especially when you have system of 2 or more lines written, like for piano you have 2 hands, so you have system of 2 lines. so two lines linked to each other. So if your lower line has those stems going up too high, so then they can clash with your other line. So to make sure that it's this is not happening, we need to write from third line and above, we turning our stems down. And finally you see that is sitting in your third space right after B. You can imagine that if I go up step by step, so then this is was C, so then I will follow the same order. After C I have D, so this note next after C it will be D. If I place my note in the next space, so it will be next note that is following D. Which note is following D? It's E. So this note will be E. If I will place my note on the next available line without skipping any space or line, so then which note is after E? And that note is F, which means that this is my note F. So basically your notes are very organized, and this order of notes that you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, it is exactly the same as on your as you have on your stuff. As I promised, I will explain to you how to skip lines and how to find out which notes are those notes when you're reading your music script. And now I will explain to you how to recognize if your notes are skipping places. For example, if you have a note that is written on your first line, and next note that you have in your music sheet is written here in second space. So first of all, what I'm always recommending to my students is to memorize notes that is written on the first line. So memorize that this note is E. And after, just simply count. E, in space will be F, on second line will be G, so it means next space it will be A. In order to do these calculations, in order to be able to count, you obviously need to know the order of your notes. So you need to know C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You need to know this by heart. So you need to know this order. So then you will be able to actually to count and recognize all the rest of the notes. For example, you have this note under all lines, and you can visually see that that this note is lower than your E. So what note, and it's very close, yeah, it's not a big step. So if you will write D, if you write this note over here, so it will be very close to your E. So which note one step down from your E? It says D, so this is your D. And for example, next note, this will be, oh yeah, you can see definitely it is a big jump. Sorry, I didn't mean to touch my line, touch the line, because this note I'm drawing is sitting in third space. So you can see the jump is very big. That's why definitely here it will be also, you will skip lots of notes. So let's count. So this is D. On first line it will be E. On your first space it will be F. Second line it will be G. Second space will be A. Third line will be B. I'm following this order right now. And third line will be C. Here you go. So those are your notes D and C. This is how you can count and how you can recognize what notes are written in your music sheet if there is any space between your notes. Okay. Now I want to show you how to recognize your notes that are written under the first line, and those notes they will be using leisure lines, and I want you to be able to recognize those notes. Okay, so I have my 5 lines, my stuff. I'm not trying very hard to write them perfectly because we're gonna go down. All right, so this is your first line, and we already learned that that under your first line you have your note D here. So this is D. To make sure that you can write C, you need to add one leisure line already, because there's no chance that you can place note that is lower than D, and we need to go down. So what should we do? The only one solution for this is to write your leisure line. So you write in your leisure line and you place a note on it, and this note is C. Easy to recognize this note. After, what's happening if I need to write? So I will write my order of notes here again. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Yeah, so what do I need? The note that is lower than C is B, one step lower. So what do I need to do to write B here? So I need to leave the same leisure line, but the leisure line stays the same. It doesn't change its place. But what is changing its place? The actual note. So this note will be moved under the leisure line. So instead of writing this note on the leisure line, I will write it under the leisure line. Here you go. Now, what note before or lower than B? That note is A. And how can I write 8 right now? I already placed my note on line and under the line. So the only thing to do is to write another leisure line. So I'm writing my second leisure line, and I'm placing note on this second leisure line, because if you place it on this line, it doesn't make any sense. So why do I need the second line? Because it's gonna look exactly like C. So this is your A. And exactly the same thing happening if I need to write G, and this is the lowest note I'm gonna show you this lesson within this course. So if I need to write G, I will just move it under there, under the second leisure line. So this is how we're writing notes that are below your first line, that under your first line. Okay, now I will show you how to place your notes above your fifth line. So I'm leaving more space on the top, because I'm gonna need the space to write my leisure lines. And the idea of writing leisure lines on top are exactly the same as we had in writing your leisure lines under the first line. So on your fifth line, you have F. This is not has name F. So next step, if I want to go up, and this will be my G, so I will write it above my fifth line. So this is G. Okay, so my spaces are gone. I don't have any more space to write my notes. So then I need to add leisure line. I'm gonna add leisure line, and note that is after G, that is higher, one step higher than G, is A. So I'm gonna place my A the same way I placed my C on my first leisure line on top. So this is A. The same thing happens when I want to write B. I'm gonna write my B on top of their leisure line. I'm not moving it under the leisure line, because the direction of my movement is different this time. When I was going down, obviously I was writing it under the leisure line. When I'm going up, I'm gonna place my notes on top of leisure lines. So this is my B. B's, they actually look similar. It's just only difference that this B placed under the leisure line, and when I'm going up, when I'm trying to write note of higher pitch, I'm gonna place it on the top of leisure line. After B, I'm gonna write C. So it's reverse. I had ABC, and here I have ABC going up. So to make sure that I can write C, I will write two leisure lines, and I will place it on the second leisure line. So this will be my C. And the same thing is going to happen if I want to write next dot after C is D. So I will place that note on the top of my second leisure line. So this is my D. So this is how looks your writing when you want to place your notes under the first line or above the fifth line. So if you have any questions about this, if you didn't understand something and you want me to give you some tips or maybe help you to read your score, you can write me the message, and I will try to do my best to support your learning. Yeah, so just let me know if you're getting confused in the process of recognizing those notes that are written with leisure lines, and I will try to help you. Thank you for watching my lesson 2 in a course of theory for beginners, and I will see you on our lesson 3.